Okay, so what's up, guys? Jamie here, and No Turning Back is back. I used to do a series on my YouTube channel here. If you're a longtime viewer, I used to do a video series every week, and I would talk about like the brand of the week. I would talk about like the three main topics that were going on in wrestling. I would have a guest host, and then I would ask them questions. That is coming back, only there's a little bit different of a format, and I'm also adding stuff. And I have a co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. If I need an introduction, I'm Razman's Reality. It's good to see you guys again over here on Earth History Jamie Land. But you're also going to be seeing this on Razman's Reality Land after the fact. Like, I'm going to download the video archives and put it over there as well. But basically, this show came about through an idea. Jamie and I have great chemistry together, both as friends and as wrestling reporters. And we're like, what if that was a regular thing? So obviously, this is the easiest way to do it is to do it live in podcast format. So what we're doing is bringing everything back from the old No Turning Back, including now that people know it's out there. In future episodes, you're probably going to see guests joining the hangouts, like people that we respect the opinions of. But in addition to all that stuff that Jamie said about the old No Turning Back, we're going to try to make this slightly more structured, because what we're going to do is recap the entire week in wrestling. Then we're going to talk about what we think are the top topics in wrestling for the week. And on pay-per-view weeks leading up to pay-per-views, this is where you're going to get our predictions. So for those of you out there that are wrestling fans and you're like, Jamie and Raz never do predictions, well,
Now we are.
yeah, now you're getting predictions. So yeah, so
And
that's
also, you guys should comment down below, sorry to interrupt you, on what you want to see on this show.
yeah. So that's the whole idea. It's just basically a live podcasting version of the old No Turning Back, and it just makes it the advantage that you have now that you didn't have before was the ability to have a regular co-host, because before, when you did this, you would always have to have people on Skype and have your speaker turned up really loud, and sometimes you could barely hear the person you're in a call with. Now with Google Plus, you actually get true face-to-face interaction as you're recording or streaming, which is awesome.
Right, and this is going to be every Friday that we do this, so I'll definitely have, a consistent upload. But anyway, let's get on to what we were going to talk about. And the first thing we want to talk about is Madison Square Garden. Now, I was there live. Raz was watching it on his television. So
On the network,
I think on the network, you know what I mean. But what I like about this, though,
to the television, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I was saying it is through the television, but in case they're like a brand new wrestling fan that doesn't know how the network works, the network is like Netflix. So you stream it through, in my case, my video game accounts on the PlayStation 4.
I stream it on my MacBook Pro.
There you go. There you go.
So I kind of like how we're going to talk about this, because I was there. We're having two different perspectives. One from the TV or whatever you happen to be watching it on, and one from being there live. Now, in my opinion, no matter what event it is so much fun live. I had an absolute blast, but they made the show out to be like it was like pay-per-view level, and while I had a blast, it just was like normal matches. For instance, like Big Show versus Lesnar, they only hyped up Lesnar. And then when they actually had the match, it was really, really disappointing. Now, Lesnar was sloppy, but to be fair, you're working with like a 400-pound giant. So no matter how scripted or how they pick him up, like, you're not going to exactly be able to pick him up and throw him over nicely. But I honestly thought the match was pretty disappointing. It was so short, too. Not that I thought it would be like 10 hours long, but I thought it would be much longer. You know, like I thought it would be longer than however long it was. What was it, like 10 minutes? Not even.
On TV, it came across as less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know because I didn't time it. Because mostly during that match, you and I were actually texting each other. That's what we did mostly during that match.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was phenomenal seeing Brock Lesnar. I'm not a Brock Lesnar fan, obviously, because I'm an Undertaker fan. Like, if you know me, you would know that. But I've never seen Lesnar live before, so that's why I was pretty excited. Didn't like Big Show. But, like, it was so disappointing. It was really, really disappointing.
I think what made it disappointing, though, was false advertising by WWE. If they had just said, this is a regular house show, but we're going to do something cool for the network and put it on TV for people that can't be there, if they made that a regular feature of the network, I would love it. Because you would get so much more programming and you would get to see every house show. So if you get something awesome like your boy Undertaker returning out of nowhere in the middle of last year, like he did at that house show, what was it, in Houston, I think it was?
Yeah. We never expect him to come back really a lot, but like he came back at a house show.
Right.
That was phenomenal.
So, yeah, so if they do that kind of stuff, that's fine. But the thing is, they didn't advertise it that way. They advertised it as like a pay-per-view in between TakeOver and Hell in a Cell, and it just did not come across that way.
No, and it was mainly like they literally advertised Brock Lesnar versus Big Show, and it wasn't even just like the match. It's just like Lesnar hasn't been there for like a decade.
And the thing is, that wasn't even the match of the night. The match of the night was the U.S. Championship between Cena and Rollins,
which was the best match. Can I say there? It was such a long match for one, which was phenomenal. And then, like, the spots, the countouts, like, it was great. And especially being there live, it was fantastic.
Oh, it was, people want to rag on both Seth Rollins and John Cena for different things, but they're the two top performers in WWE, in my opinion, right now.
I'm not even a Cena fan, and I love Seth Rollins, but oh my gosh, they both did so good. Like, there was, pretty much every time they went 1, 2, 3, except at the beginning of the match, like, I thought, oh, this has got to end. And then he kicked out, and I was like, holy moly. And then they threw each other off the steel cage, and I was just like, seeing that live is so much fun.
Yeah, and I thought Rollins was going to kill him. I thought Rollins was going to kill himself because Kane came out to cost Rollins.
I freaked out. I love Kane. I freaked out during that. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sure you did. But I was saying Kane came out to cost Rollins the U.S. title, and Rollins was about to, win the match. He's like, I'm not going to jump down to where Kane is. So he did a spot where he was trying to hit like a frog splash off the top of the cage, but you knew that Cena was going to move. I mean, it's obvious that Cena's going to move and set up to win the match at that point. And Cena moved so quickly while Rollins was still in the air. I'm wondering if he actually kind of screwed that up and moved too soon, because the way Rollins hit that mat, I thought he broke his leg. It looked really, really bad, at least on TV. I don't know how it came across live, but it looked like a really
There were some things where I was like, oh my God, did he like break his neck? Or like break his ankle or whatever. But I also thought it was pretty funny though when they were like playing tug of war with each other when they were trying to get out the door. I thought that was funny.
That was great. That was great.
Oh, and I also want to talk about Neville. Can I just say he is absolutely, not only is he awesome on TV, but he is phenomenal live.
Oh, I can't imagine. I said the red arrow is my favorite move. And
seeing that live, I got that on camera. I saw that live, and I was just like, holy crap, how do you do that? The flips he does. Oh my gosh, he's so athletic.
Yeah, because the thing is, the red arrow is like a mix between the 450 splash and the shooting star press, which are the two most difficult top rope moves anyway. And he combines the two of them. Like, nobody else has ever been able to do that move. I don't think anybody else could ever do that move. I don't care if you're Daniel Bryan. I don't care if you're any other high flyer, I don't think there's another wrestler around that could do that move because it's such a unique move. Like, I don't think that Neville could train somebody how to do that move. He might be able to, but it would
And,
be
you know, getting
so
off
hard.
topic too, but the shooting star press is such an amazing move too. I absolutely was obsessed with that move, and now I'm obsessed with Neville's move and him. He is great. He's absolutely great. Not that I don't love Stardust or anything, but like,
Yeah.
that was great.
Well, I want him when they're ready to move Owens into the WWE World Heavyweight Championship picture. I want Neville to be the next Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, and let's talk about your boy, Chris Jericho.
Speaking of
His match was good too, by the way. They're both so talented. But go ahead, he's your boy. So
I was just gonna say, speaking of Intercontinental Championship, that was kind of an unintended segue there, because we're talking about the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. But you know what's funny is that Jericho's my favorite wrestler ever, and I actually, admittedly, am not a true Jerichoholic, at least not as much as I thought I was, because I honestly forgot that this was his anniversary date. Because I looked at it and I'm like, why is Chris Jericho on this card against Kevin Owens? I thought, I was like, are they really that desperate to get ratings for this thing that they have to bring Jericho out for a special attraction? And then he started cutting his promo, and I'm like, this is literally what I did. I don't want to look stupid on camera, but I was like, you idiot. Yeah, like, how could you forget that? And then, I'm mad at myself for forgetting that. And then he starts to cut the promo, which, oh my gosh. If you're any kind of Jerichoholic or just a wrestling fan in general, like you, how can you not get emotional at that point?
I was like so excited when he was talking. It was so awesome when he was cutting a promo live. Like, everything is so much different live. Like, when he was just talking, you're like, not like obviously on TV too, but like you're so zoned in when he's talking. I was freaking out, but then I was mainly thinking of you when he was saying all that, and I was recording that too, by the way. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, she put most of it in her experience video, and she probably did that just because of me, probably. But
yeah,
that was.
Oh, and getting a bit sidetracked, but like when we were during the Brock Lesnar and Big Show match, there was a part where when he came back, I thought, okay, Undertaker's gonna come out. Undertaker's gonna come out.
That's what I kept hoping, because I'm like, Brock Lesnar is thrown in a random match here in the middle of a feud with Undertaker. It would make perfect sense for Undertaker to come out, and because this was a special event, I thought it just made sense. And
it's just MSG too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're basically calling pay-per-views now, because it's one flat fee for every pay-per-view. So really, it's not pay-per-view anymore. It's just special event where all the titles are on the line at the end of the month, if you think about it in terms of money that you're spending. So I just thought it would make perfect sense for Undertaker to come out, and we both had that same thought. Like, when Lesnar came back the second time, we were both sitting there like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, because then I was like, please be here, Taker. Please, 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 please. And then he started to leave, and I was like, no, where are you going? It wouldn't make any sense for Taker to come out if you leave. And then he came out, and I turned my camera on. I was like, I need this on camera. I need it on camera. And then my heart was like coming out of my chest. And then he didn't come out, and I was like, dang it. But and also getting back to what you were mentioning, like, poor Big Show was just thrown into some random match, and then only to be squashed just to make Lesnar look good.
Right, and not once but twice, because they continued it on Raw too.
I know.
So it's like,
and it was totally random.
Like, we're not the biggest Big Show fans in the world, but nobody deserves that.
No, I know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed seeing Heyman and I enjoyed seeing Lesnar, but like, it wasn't the
that's what I was going to ask
greatest.
You. That's what I was going to ask you, because there's really nothing else really point-wise to talk about with the show. So just talk about, like, what was it like? Because that was pretty much the biggest show you've ever been to in terms of production quality, right?
Right.
So was there a difference knowing that the TV crew was there? Did it make it a different experience than a normal show?
I think just because it's MSG, no matter even if it is a house show, because they always treat it special, you always get like more than like a regular show or a house show because they bring other wrestlers there. Like I went to MSG not this summer. Well, yes, I went this around now, but last summer I was at MSG. Ric Flair was there, Triple H, Jericho, so they had some special things, but it felt special just to be there simply because it was MSG. And then because it felt a bit strange because it was Saturday and normally like it's during the week. I know there used to be Saturday stuff, but like mainly now it felt like a different atmosphere because the crew was there and because it was a Saturday, and it was just so much fun live though. It's just being live it's hard to explain. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah, no, I imagine you had a great time, but as far as like you wanted to compare and contrast, you had a better time there live than I think most of us did watching. I mean, the thing I take away from it is Jericho because I'm a huge Jerichoholic and the main event. Those are the two things I take away.
I think I enjoyed all of it, but what I enjoyed the most was Seth versus Cena in the steel cage. Seeing Brock Lesnar, not the actual match, and then like seeing Neville, and then Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens was I think.
I mean, that was a dream. That's
like live wise lived up to the hype because events are always fun live. Probably on TV,
Yeah, if on TV it fell flat, but live I'm sure it was amazing. And the thing is, Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho has always been a dream match of mine anyway. So I was on cloud 9 when it was announced anyway, even if it didn't make sense. But then they went out and put on a fantastic match.
But they're both phenomenal.
And really, even though we're live and it would be kind of awkward for the people watching, maybe I should just talk for a minute and let you step away because you should show your shirt because you got the special Chris Jericho anniversary shirt.
I am actually going to show it in the next video, so you got to be tuned in for that. But getting back to like being there live, it was different in terms of like because it was a Saturday, because house shows are not on a day when are not like on a Monday or when they normally film. So it felt different in terms of that. It just felt a bit strange, because house shows are not normally filmed. You know what I mean? So that's what it felt weird in terms of that.
And that's the thing. It was a house show, but it was treated like a regular weekly show. So like I said, if they're going to do that, great. But they didn't advertise it that way, and it just came off as a weird mix.
Yeah, it just felt special. But anyway, let's get on to the other ones because we probably just spent like 40 minutes talking about MSG.
Yeah, which we shouldn't have done because there's like so much more to cover this week.
Okay, so NXT, right? Yes.
No, Raw's next.
Raw. Okay, Raw. Go ahead.
The only thing I take away from Raw is that the Divas continue to be the most entertaining storyline in WWE right now. With the whole dissension in PCB and the whole, like, Nikki Bella there in the background. Like, I was the champion. You still got to face me. Like, Paige is jealous of Natalya. Like, that to me was the most memorable part of Raw because the main event was just, again, if I'm remembering correctly, no. The main event was Big E versus John Cena, so we won't talk about that. But they continue to prolong the Roman Reigns Bray Wyatt feud, and I'm like, why? Why is this still going on?
I mean, they're all phenomenal together, but it's time to like move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for what feels like 6 months.
It's really sad. I don't think I remember anything on Raw except for a few things.
I just remember that Divas match, and then I remember the main.
Wasn't it? What was that tag team match that we thought was really interesting? Like the four of them together.
It was Kane and Seth Rollins because Kane forced himself into the match with Seth against the Dudleys.
Yeah, that's what I thought was an interesting match. But other than that, I honestly don't remember anything.
Honestly, I guess that's the other thing I got to talk about is I got to give you all the credit in the world because you said right from the very beginning that split personality King would actually be really interesting, and I was not sold on it. I hated it. I'm like, how can you play both characters at the same time? But every week he's doing something a little bit slightly different, and it's really growing on me. So I give you all the credit.
Yes, and I like the way they booked it too. It's not just as like too much Corporate Kane, because wasn't a fan at all of Corporate Kane as much as I love Kane, but the way they're booking it between Demon Kane and like Corporate Kane, I absolutely love it. But I did like the tag team match between the Dudleys and the two of them. But other than that, and what you talked about, I don't remember anything else on Raw.
Yeah, and Big E, it reminded me of when.
And New Day is phenomenal. Love him.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When Big E was wrestling Cena, it reminded me of when he used to be NXT champion. Like, people forget how good a wrestler he actually is in the ring. So I was really impressed with him, but it was just kind of a weird thing to place in the main event to me. I felt like it should have been like in the middle of the show, and maybe that tag team storyline should have been at the end because that's going to be the main event of the upcoming pay-per-view. So it was just kind of strange booking. But SmackDown, there was literally, I'm telling you guys, it was literally.
I don't watch SmackDown anymore, so I have no idea.
I watched it specifically for this show. I never watched SmackDown, but because of the show, I'm going to have to watch SmackDown again now. But it was literally the same thing it's always been ever since they ended the brand split. There was no progression. The only thing that moved forward was Roman Reigns dominating over the Wyatt family and Bray Wyatt looking a little bit scared of him. And then it was the Divas storyline again, because what happened this time was that it was a six-woman tag team match, and it was Natalya actually fully being the partner of Charlotte and Becky rather than.
I love Natalya.
Oh yeah, you love Natalya. So
I love Natty. She's queen.
Maybe you should actually watch that match then. But but Natalya actually partnered with Charlotte and Becky, and they were
that's amazing.
And they were calling them Team NCB instead of Team PCB, and the whole jealousy thing with Paige. Like, I love what Paige is doing. Paige is basically doing the female version of what Kane is doing because she's clearly frustrated that Charlotte's Divas.
Yeah, she's like, not to interrupt you, sorry. Like, she's like playing the two characters, I love Paige too.
Right. I mean, I was saying that she's, clearly frustrated by Charlotte being Divas champion. She clearly wants that spot, but it's not your typical full-on heel turn because every time Charlotte and Becky are out there, she pretends like she hasn't done anything wrong. Like, she did that thing at MSG. That's one thing.
Oh my gosh.
We talk about that was hilarious when Charlotte and Becky wouldn't tag her and they jumped down, and then
all of a sudden she started like playing like the woe is me card. It was phenomenal though when she was doing that.
Yeah, so it's like she can't make up her mind, and I actually love it. I'm not irritated by it at all. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. I love though how the Divas are getting like everything now. I was never into the Divas. Like, I would like walk away or just not even pay attention, but I was actually quite like focused on when the Divas were there.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is random though too about SmackDown. I love how Natty is like wrestling, because we haven't seen her in a while.
Right,
and I really hope they push her. I really, really hope they do that.
Yeah, well, there's rumors of her retiring, so it's good to see that those rumors were false.
Oh my God! Thank goodness that's false.
Yeah. So, anyway, moving on. This is the big one of the week for sure. NXT TakeOver Respect, and I should let you kick this off because this was actually your first ever time, and apparently her phone goes off in the middle of live broadcasting.
Sorry.
The joys of live broadcasting. But I want to start this off with you because this was your first time, I believe, ever being able to catch a TakeOver live. You only had ever been able to watch them on demand. So what was your impressions of NXT? Because now you finally see what people are talking about this whole NXT.
Yes, and NXT lives up to its hype. It has great storylines. It has great wrestlers. It obviously I was looking forward to Sasha versus Bayley, which was so good.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
moly. You
we're gonna
never see those types of matches.
never, and that's why that match is going to be the end of the show. Like,
And what I
we're gonna
like
save
is
that
like
for
what
the
you
end.
see on NXT, you don't see on WWE. On like the, I mean that is WWE, but you don't see on like the main brand like Raw.
Exactly, it literally feels like independent wrestling, but on television with a high budget, is what it feels like.
And I wish they would book NXT like they like for Raw, you know.
Yeah, I wish they would book SmackDown and Raw the same way that they book NXT. And that honestly, it comes down to Triple H having complete 100% control in NXT versus only some control on Raw and SmackDown. Like, no offense, Vince, you're a legend. The company wouldn't exist without you. The industry wouldn't exist without you. Nobody's disrespecting you. But step down. Let your son-in-law do his thing because he is
Knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and he's taking the company in the right direction. Absolutely.
NXT is so good. Like, I am already starting to fall in love with a lot of the wrestlers.
Yeah, she's got a thing for Finn now.
Yes, I love Finn. Oh my god. And I love Sasha and Bayley, but you know, that's besides.
All right, well, let's quickly run down the card. That was the semi-finals of. Someone's really trying to get a hold of her, so
Go ahead, continue talking.
So we'll just let her try to take care of that while we quickly run through this card.
Go ahead, continue talking though.
But it was the semifinal match. The first semifinal match, it was Dash and Dawson versus Samoa Joe and Finn Balor in the first semifinal match of the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Tournament. And of course, Finn and Joe get the victory here. It's the first time you've seen Joe ever, probably, in WWE. So what did you think of that? And secondly, do you like Finn and Joe as a team?
I do really, really like the two of them together. I really, really like seeing Samoa Joe. I both think they're good wrestlers. I totally, like, people were, like, always saying, whatever happened to Samoa Joe? Or, like, where is he? And I was like talking to one of my friends at school. And I was like, he's in NXT. Like, I was like, you guys got to check NXT out. It is great. But I think they're both really good wrestlers. I like the two of them together. I think they work well together, and I am obsessed with both of them, especially, what's his name again?
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, yeah. I'm so horrible with names, sorry. But yeah, I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah, no, it was really a good match, solid match. No one really surprised that Finn and Joe go to the finals. But what surprised me was who their finals opponents were. I was a little bit surprised to see Baron Corbin and Rhino defeat Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, because it would have made better sense for me, because Jason Jordan and Chad Gable were a true NXT tag team that's getting a true build as a true tag team rather than just two superstars thrown together. And this is supposed to be a tag team memorial tournament. So I would have put Jason Jordan and Chad Gable up against the two established stars. I think it would have made for a far better match, but I think it was just WB is really trying to force Baron Corbin down our throat. I mean, plain and simple. That's what they're doing, because he's like the prototypical big guy that they want to get over all the time, which I'm not a fan of at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good in the ring and he's entertaining, and this Lone Wolf character is different than most big guys, but I just think in that particular spot, it didn't make any sense for him to go over.
Right. I think we should also kind of wrap up the show, too. It's probably like 15 minutes, this video. But quickly getting down to talking about Sasha versus Bayley. Go. Your thoughts.
Well, Sasha versus Bayley, first of all, I didn't realize that we were that long. So, yeah, we spent way too much time on NXT. So we were on MSG. So we promise next time this will be more structured and it won't be all over the place. But, yeah, Sasha versus Bayley 2. Before I start talking about that, I have to recommend to anybody, use the on-demand feature on the freaking WWE Network, because you've got to see Sasha versus Bayley for the title 1 at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, because that match was just as good, if not better, in certain places. But
they actually make women's wrestling so interesting. They're both such good wrestlers. And Sasha's a good heel. As much as I didn't like her, like being mean to Izzy, she is a great heel. Bailey's a great wrestler. Sasha's a great wrestler. And, like, you don't see those types of matches with women. And, like, it was so good. And it was so emotional at the end. I was, like, in tears. But go ahead.
Yeah.
We
Well,
should probably wrap it up.
The thing that made the match, I mean, I really want to give this match its own video, so I hate that we're going so long. But the thing about the match that makes it so different is just what Jamie said. You never would think that two women would be able to go at it for 30 minutes and entertain you and physically be able to hold up. And everything about the match worked. Sasha being a perfect heel, taking shortcuts to get a pinfall early on, then doing the thing with Izzy. Bailey going freaking head first into the video board. I was like,
oh my gosh, you don't see that either. You don't see those types of spots.
You don't see guys doing that, let alone girls.
I know. Smash into that, smash into this. Holy cow, it was great.
So, yeah. So, it was just full of great spots, and I can't talk about it enough, but the biggest takeaway, like you said, was just the emotion at the end, like Sasha breaking character, Sarah Del Rey and Triple H and Matt Bloom and the entire NXT roster coming out at the end. The crowd, thank you, Sasha, because everybody knows that she's never going to be in NXT again. And Bayley,
but hey, you're on the main roster now, so
yeah, and Bailey crying over getting the victory. I mean, it was
cute.
The flowers. I mean,
I know.
It seemed cheesy. It should have been cheesy, but it wasn't.
But it was great. It was great. It was absolutely great. I'm going to be watching NXT more often. But anyway, we're going to end this video here. Let us know what you want to see on No Turning Back. We're going to definitely structure it a lot better. And all my links and his links are down below. Make sure you read the description. Please comment on what you want to see. Would you like to add anything, Raz?
Well, I was just going to say, if you feel like Sasha versus Bailey was too short, as far as our discussion, because I do, if you want to see us actually do like a bonus video of this and just talk about that match, let us know in the comments.
Right, and I just want to point out, like, literally the match went 30 minutes, and then, like, she won literally 3-2-1 just as that was counting down. I just like to point that out.
Yeah, the tap was literally in the last 3 seconds of the match. I mean,
it went 3-2-1 just like simultaneously with the time.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone better than that. It was tremendous.
Yep. So we will see you next Friday with an all new No Turning Back. Bye. Bye.